Hey everybody, welcome to my Suburban Oasis. Today we're going to be doing lots of things outside because it is a glorious day. It's a high of 82 and we're finally starting to get some clouds. It was hot and baking, a little too hot for springtime, I must say. Some of my perennials are definitely looking a little bit tired already because they need some rain and they need a little bit of coolness. I've seen some spring bulbs actually flower for only a few days because it's so dry and hot. Well, my name is Soleil and I garden in mid-Michigan. For those of you who don't know, Michigan is basically shaped like a hand and I garden right about here. We have lakes all around the lower peninsula and this is about where I'm at. So we're zone 5B again, which means we get quite cold in the winter time. And right now what I'm going to do is clean up some of the Bergenia that I have because it's definitely got some leaves that have had some wear and tear on them through the winter time. And this will make them look a whole lot better. So let's take a look at what we're doing. So we're here in the potager garden, and along the side of it, up against my south-facing wall, we have a nice long row of Bergenia along here. And this Bergenia is a really beautiful evergreen plant, and you can see it's actually starting to get some flowers on it right now. It has some beautiful pink flowers that come up above the foliage in early springtime. And then again, because it is this wonderful evergreen foliage, it provides nice winter interest and it turns a dark red or burgundy in the fall. Right now we're starting to see some new growth, but also because we have a lot of leaves that are fairly crispy around the edges, we're just going to clean up those old big leaves and make room for the nice fresh new growth. In order to make room for the fresh new growth, we're simply going to follow each leaf back right down into the center of the plant, and we're going to snip it off right there. And you can see down at the base, down at the base here, there's a little bit of greenery, and that's that brand new leaf that's waiting to erupt. As always, this time of year, it's very important to make sure that you put on your sunscreen and your hat, and make sure you take it easy when you're getting started in the garden, because it's really easy to get overwhelmed or to wear your muscles out and then just get too tired to really be able to get done what you need to. So definitely take the time to protect yourself from the sun and ensure that you warm your body up and get those gardening muscles moving. I usually try to wear a hat and sunglasses when I'm gardening because it also helps protect my eyes, but also I have a need for corrective lenses, so I definitely wear those to ensure that I can see really well in the garden also. This won't take very long for me to get these cleaned up, but once we're done, it's sure going to look a whole lot better. All these Bergenias essentially came from just a few plants that I got a long time ago. They continue to spread and I divide them over time. You see like a sticky, you know, that sticky weed? Oh, I hate that one. I don't know exactly what it's called officially, but it sticks to everything. It's got these little tiny things on it that spread it around the garden. It's pretty annoying. Now, one thing I will say is never prune back all of the leaves on the Bergenia. They definitely like to have leaves in order to help them grow. But take off the ones that look worse for the wear. You can always come back through and take more off as the summer progresses. The main goal right here is to take off ones that have quite a bit of crispiness along the edges. And you may not get this quite as much if you're in a warmer climate, but we definitely get it happening here in Michigan. The other thing you want to do is just kind of look around, because these do turn really thick and leathery. And if you see some at the base that are leaves that have really died back over the winter time, you'll also want to kind of clean those out. So make sure to keep an eye out. After we get done with this, because we have some really cold weather, and here's some of those leaves that I'm talking about, the really dark ones that have turned leathery and hard. Sorry, so as I was saying, I have a freeze coming, and we have lots of plants outside. So I'm definitely going to take some time to plant some lettuce out into the potager next. By planting the lettuce out into the potager, it will be a few less pots for me to have to cover up or bring inside. And they should be just fine, even if it freezes. Almost every year I'm able to get enough new growth from these plants to be able to divide them and add to some other area of the garden, or to replace an old plant in this area. Back behind this chair, it's really hard to see, but there's a lot of Bergenia, and lots of it doesn't seem to have a whole lot of damage, so we're going to leave that alone. One of the things I love about Bergenia is its versatility. It can handle sun, it can handle shade, and it can handle nice cold temperatures. Why don't you give it a try in your garden? Do you have it? Now when we walk along this row of Bergenia, it definitely looks a lot cleaner and tidier, and you can actually see some of the blooms better because we've cleared away some of that old foliage and made it open and allow for that new foliage to come through soon. All right, let's grab our lettuce and get that planted. Actually, before I grab my lettuce, I just want to show you this area. This is the area that we're going to be planting the lettuce in, and I'm going to be covering it with cages because I do have a resident rabbit and definitely a juvenile groundhog as well. Right now, I also have some lettuce that is growing on here, and this is romaine lettuce as well as some buttercrunch lettuce. And what we're going to plant today are a couple of different varieties so we can add to this garden bed. Right now I have 2 containers of this little gem lettuce. Doesn't it look beautiful? It's growing on really well in these containers, but again, we're going to get a freeze, so I need to make sure that I have plenty of opportunity to protect things and bring things inside if need be. These should be able to handle, so let's get them outside and get them in the ground. We're going to plant these in a circle because the cages that I have are the ones that I have placed over my daffodils and over my tulips, and they are circular in nature. But I want to keep them tight enough in the circle so that I can also place a nice row cover over them. You'll see one back behind me, and this row cover basically is some plastic, and it has a mesh top on it to let the rain through. These have really great roots happening on them, nice and white, and they're just growing so well. Been really pleased with their progress so far. If I need to, I can also replant some of these after this really cool temperature. So this could be considered a temporary planting if I wanted to, but they'll probably just remain in the ground. As the temperature rises, it's much more helpful for me to be able to have these actually in the ground. And you'll notice that I am planting them fairly close together. That's just to ensure that I can get them underneath of the protective cages that I have with plenty of room. I'm gonna pull this weed out. That's a little baby maple tree. So in addition to these, I'm gonna grab some iceberg lettuce that we have, and that should round out what our planting will be for today. We'll put the iceberg lettuce right in the middle. I think that'll make it really pretty. Also, that's one of the things that I like about potager gardens, is that not only do they provide you with food, but they also can look really beautiful. All right, let's get the iceberg lettuce. Now, planting out this iceberg lettuce is also going to save me having to haul 2 additional pots inside. They might be okay sitting outside during the snowstorm. At least that's what it looks like we're going to be getting here. But I'm just not going to risk it, because I really do love having fresh lettuce all throughout the summer to eat my salads on. I'm just digging up a couple of chards that are in here because they're really not doing very well. They were planted last fall, and they might come back, or at least one of them look like it might have the chance of coming back, but at this point I just want to get this lettuce in. All right, and we have four lettuce that are the iceberg type. And we're going to plant these like in a circle as well. Now tomorrow is going to be a really nice day, so it should give them a great opportunity to adjust to their new home before we actually get the freeze. And we'll just compost this old chard. I think I'm going to need to use these cages without the extra rim, so I'm going to take that off. And my groundhog has actually moved cages on me before, so I'm going to also use landscape staples to get these so that they stay in the ground and are not moved. I do think I can get by with just one landscape staple in each one of these cages. because as long as they don't move too much when he first pushes on them, we should be good. I've got these nice ones from Landscape Supply, or excuse me, Gardener Supply Company that have these little finger rings in them, and I love that because it makes them so easy to pull out. Okay, well here's what we ended up with. We have a nice row of lettuce under the row cover, and then we have 3 cloches with the cages over them, so that's going to be fantastic. I will water these in as well just so that they take super good to their new spot. And I just want to show you guys around the garden real quick for the rest of the video. A couple of things that are blooming that I think if I don't show you now will probably be out of bloom. So I wanted to get in and show you these daffodils again because I said maybe these were down the Shaws, but they definitely are not. So I went back to my records and determined that these are called apricot whirl, and I think they are absolutely gorgeous. So I just wanted to share that with you and show you what they look like up close and tell you what they are actually called. All right, now let's go take a look at a couple of the other things that are in bloom right now that I was talking about in terms of that I'm probably going to lose them in the freeze. So can we just stand here and admire the look of this garden bed right now? I am just so thrilled with it and the spring beauty, because a couple of years ago we just did not have much spring beauty in this bed at all. And now we have this beautiful flowering plum with lots of daffodils at the base, and we have that beautiful light green foliage of the Amber Jubilee, and of course our neighborhood rabbit. But here's that plum with the beautiful pink blossoms on it, and I just know if I don't show you today that I might not have a chance to show you, because in a couple of days the freeze will probably take all of these blossoms. But the pollinators today are going to enjoy it and love it. All right, let's take a look at a couple of other things that I wanted to show you, and that is my hyacinths. My hyacinths in this half moon garden are absolutely gorgeous right now. I don't know whether they will withstand this freeze or not, because I have not grown many hyacinths in my garden to this point. I have primarily planted tulips and daffodils, but this year I really wanted to add them, and I love purple hyacinths, so that's what we got. These are actually called a Delft blue, but to me they look purple, and I'm gonna stick with that. And we have them on both sides over here. This is another beautiful set of them, as well as in this back garden area right here. Aren't those just lovely? And they smell so good. These were also from Color Blends. So this is the weeping cherry, and it blooms for a very short period of time in spring, but it is absolutely magnificent when it does bloom. And if you could hear the sounds of the bumblebees on this, you would absolutely be amazed. It's almost like the entire tree just basically is buzzing and humming with all of the excitement of the bees that are on it. And I just love this tree. I think it's so pretty. Now I've had this one for probably about 15 years now, and it's interesting, you can even see on the inner trunk that there are blooms in there. Look at that, right on the trunk of the tree. So pretty, isn't it? And just the number of bees that are on it makes my heart happy as well. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining me on today's video. It was so much fun to get outside and do some real gardening. I know we'll have a chance to do so again soon after the freeze. I'm not too worried about it. I just need to make sure that I'm prepped appropriately, bring some plants inside, and protect some of the ones that are outside. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.